I'm 18 years old, and I live with my parents in a 2-story house tucked into a quiet suburban neighborhood. A few days ago, my parents left on a long road trip to visit some relatives across the country. I wanted to go with them at first, but eventually decided to stay behind. It was the start of summer break, and honestly, the idea of having the whole house to myself sounded like a dream. The first day or two alone was actually kind of nice. I stayed up late, ate junk food, played music too loud, just normal home alone stuff. But by the third night, the silence started feeling heavier, like the house was too quiet. I decided to watch some movies to pass the time. I scrolled through a bunch of options, but then I remembered a horror movie my friends had recommended a while ago. One of those slow burn psychological ones with a lot of tension and creepy sounds. I knew I probably shouldn't watch it alone, but I couldn't resist. I turned off all the lights except for the dim lamp behind the couch, grabbed some snacks, and hit play. Our living room has this weird layout. It's open, and the stairs to the second floor start right next to the back wall. So, while I'm watching the movie, the staircase is basically in my peripheral vision the entire time, completely dark and stretching up into blackness. I kept glancing at it without meaning to. You know how your brain likes to imagine things in the shadows when you're already freaked out? Yeah. About halfway through the movie, there's this really tense scene, and as I was watching it, I suddenly thought I heard something upstairs, like a creaking sound. Just once. I paused the movie, held my breath. Nothing. Probably the house settling or something dumb like that. I went back to watching, but that uneasy feeling stayed in my chest. Eventually, the movie ended, and I was actually too nervous to even turn off the TV. I brushed my teeth, locked the front and back doors, and made sure all the lights were off, except the one in the upstairs hallway, which I left on, because, I crawled into bed around midnight. I stayed on my phone for a while to distract myself, until I finally felt drowsy and put it down. I was just drifting off when I heard footsteps upstairs. My heart jumped into my throat. Our attic doesn't have a full room, just a crawl space with some boxes and insulation. And there's no way to walk up there without making a ton of noise. But it was clearly the sound of slow, dragging footsteps. I sat up in bed, barely breathing. The footsteps stopped. I told myself, maybe it was an animal. Maybe a raccoon or something had gotten into the attic. I tried to stay rational. And then I heard a voice. A girl's voice. At first, I thought it was coming from outside, maybe someone walking by. But no, it was inside the house. It sounded like it was coming from the hallway. Faint, but unmistakable. She was saying something over and over. Saying, "Are you home? Are you home?" Skin went cold. I didn't recognize the voice. It wasn't a neighbor. It wasn't a friend. And that it wasn't my imagination. I know what I heard. I grabbed my phone and froze, too afraid to even move. After what felt like forever, the voice stopped. I sat there in silence, listening, barely blinking. Then, something scratched at my bedroom door. Not knocked, scratched, light and slow. That is when I lost it. I jumped out of bed, grabbed the lamp from my nightstand, and flicked it on, practically blind with panic. I opened the door. Nothing was there. I checked every room upstairs. Nothing. I even opened the attic hatch with a broomstick and looked up. Nothing but darkness. I didn't sleep that night. I locked myself in my room and kept the lights on. The next morning, I walked around the whole house. Every window and door was still locked from the inside. I checked the hallway where I thought I heard the voice. Nothing was there. I even tried telling myself it was just a dream. Sleep paralysis, maybe, but the scratches on my door. I haven't told my parents yet. I don't want to freak them out. But I've been staying at a friend's house ever since. And I'm not going back alone. Not ever again.